Hi everyone, this is Margarita with City Gal Papeterie. In today's video, I create a series of cards using two different templates. They are all multi-layered pattern paper greeting cards. I use two different layouts for the cards. I don't really sketch them out. They're not a sketch. I just kind of made a card. I liked how it looked. And then I thought it would be good to just grab a bunch of pattern paper and create another few cards using that same layout or template. I have pre-cut my panels to 3 by 4 inches with a mat that goes below it, just about an eighth of an inch larger. And then I used a coordinating or contrasting pattern paper for the strips that are over. I don't use any specific measurements for these. I kind of just go with whatever I have in my stash. Some are thicker than others depending on how much of the pattern I want to show on the card. And for some of the cards I didn't have a large sheet of paper to use, so that's why some of them have the fishtail banner rather than a long strip going from the top to bottom. I also again try and incorporate these strips that come at the top of the paper pads, the perforated strips. I do save them and I try to use them on different projects. This is just one other way that you could use these types of strips. And it's a good way to kind of get the most out of your paper. So these cards come together pretty quickly after you've cut out all of your supplies, all the paper pieces that you want to use. Once I've pieced together all the pattern papers, I go ahead and put them on a background mat that will then be adhered to an actual card base. Most of these cards I leave without a sentiment, mostly because I didn't really need any specific cards at this time. So this way, whenever I do need a card, I can, either pop on a sticker sentiment, I can use a die cut sentiment, I can stamp something on a strip or another circle and add it to the card for whatever occasion I might need it for. So I created the first card at 2 times speed. Creating the rest, I think this is like 10 times speed or something, just so you can see the process, but you don't have to see the slow process because this is really just repetitive. I mean, you can kind of see how I layer them. I've pre-layered them, in other words, so you can already see how everything's going to come together. And this way you can kind of just see the whole process quickly and not have to sit through like a really slow video. So my favorite part of these cards is the variety of patterns and how they coordinate with each other. They're not all necessarily from the same pack of paper. I have lots of pattern paper, so I always try to mix and match when I can. And for this particular card, I add foam tape because it's got a white mat against a white background. So this way there's some dimension to break up the white and you don't have to lose the border against the card base. So yeah, there's a lot of layers in these cards without adding too much dimension. And so there's a whole lot going on. There's a lot of character and personality to these cards. You can really dress up your cards to fit the occasion that you want it to fit without having to do a whole lot as far as stamping or die cuts or sentiment even. You can definitely use pattern paper to create a birthday card that looks like a birthday card without having to even have something that says happy birthday on it, in other words, so you can definitely use the patterns on the papers to your advantage to communicate what you want using just the actual pattern. So some cards are obviously going to be really cheery and more feminine, some can be masculine, So you can really create a mood on your card by using different patterns of paper and different colors to get your message across. And I really like that about pattern paper. This is the other template that I use. So I created this card, the one on the top right, and I really liked how it looked, and I really enjoyed all of the layering that was on it. And so I use that same template and I grab a bunch of other pattern paper. I cut them down to the same sizes. It's really just approximate. So the two middle pattern sheets of paper, they're roughly 3 inches by 4 inches. The background paper is 3¼ by 4.5. 4¼ by 5.5. And I tear all the edges for some texture, and then I just layer everything together. Obviously, the fishtail banners and the circles that are punched on there and the stars and that type of stuff is all from other scrap paper that I've had lying around, or anything extra that I had from cutting the panels for the center. These templates are also really good to use any kind of wording that you already have printed on a pattern paper. Many pattern paper pads, that's a tongue twister. Many pattern paper pads have sheets in them that have wording or quotes or sentiments, and these types of templates are really good to kind of just pop those on there. You don't even have to worry about stamping a sentiment or die cutting a sentiment or any other, using stickers, etc. It just makes it really easy to put together a card that you need right away for pretty much any occasion. For some of them, I use the foam tape behind the fishtail banners. It gives them something more as far as dimension goes. And it's just a quick and simple way of adding more detail to your card. For this specific template, I also, you can also vary how you use your little details. Either you can put your fishtail banners at the top, or you can put them at the bottom. It's really up to you or what you want to get across on your card. This pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you some ideas on using some pattern papers or creating some greeting cards for any of your needs. And I hope to see you again soon.